In this video, we're going to exploit a dork. Now, that just sounds terrible. What do I mean by that? Well, we're going to look at Google dorking, also known as Google hacking. It's a method capable of returning information that can be difficult to locate through normal, simple search queries. We're going to do this by providing search screens that use advanced search operators. Now, in the context of Google dorking, a dork is maybe someone who has unwillingly exposed sensitive information to the internet. Again, dork being a slang for a person that is inept or incompetent. Okay, so again, a Google dork is just using these advanced Google searching options to find this information that may have accidentally left exposed to the internet. It's often used in penetration testing or in hacking when trying to find out information about your target. This is often called reconnaissance or footprinting. Ethical hackers use this method when penetration testing to query the search engines, find this information. And there are many different resources available online to find out about some of the more common hacks, or dorks as they're called, including a resource such as the Google hacking database. Now, I'm not going to take you there and walk you through this. This isn't really a tutorial, just it's an awareness. Now, a reminder. Finding this information that's publicly available on the internet may not be illegal. Using it or attempting to access a system without permission is illegal. Do not do this. Okay? Practice ethical hacking. Now, with that in mind, let's take a look at a couple of examples of some Google hacking, or again, as they're unfortunately called, Google dorks. So let's say I wanted to search for web cameras that are on the internet using Webcam XP. Webcam XP is a popular free download for webcam and network camera software for Windows. So what I can do is use the in title search coupled with the in URL. So in title, that's actually what's going to show up in the title of a web page as indexed by Google. We're going to search for, in the quotes here, Webcam XP. And then in the URL, I'm going to look for 8080. 8080 happens to be the port that the webcam service software is listening on. Sometimes people will put it on a different port to try to make it obscure and more, air quotes, secure. However, really, that's called security by obscurity, and it's really not much of security at all. So let's go ahead and do this search. So what I've come up here with are a series of web cameras that are likely widely open on the internet. So I'm not going to click on one of these, but if I click on one of these, it's more than likely going to bring up their webcam. And I really don't want to see what's on there. And since this is the internet, it could be anything. So search at your own risk. Now, Google can index most types of pages and file types. So we can use another advanced operator called file type. That file type search can be used for a specific file type. Powerfully, we can even use a file type of an environment, an ENV. ENV is used by various web development frameworks to declare general variables and configurations. So for example, maybe a web page calls a database backend and needs a username and password to access that database, such as a MySQL database or what have you. So I could actually do a search where I would use the file type of ENV and then use the actual environment variable db_password. Let's go ahead and do that search. Now remember, seeing this information that's publicly available, again, not illegal. Using, collecting, attempting to access a system is illegal. Do not do that. Okay? And here you can see in these files, these ENV files, people have usernames and passwords in clear text. Terrible. Awful. dangerous. Okay, you can actually scroll through a lot of these different sites are indexed. And there's usernames and passwords in clear text out there. Or maybe I want to search for an old school remote desktop web connection site. It's a way to access your remote network via the remote desktop protocol for Windows. Maybe someone's running an old Windows server out there. Well, I could do a search for that as well. So what I can do is use the all in URL parameter here. So what I'm looking for is in the URL, you'll see tsweb/default.htm. Now, tsweb is the old school remote desktop web interface. So again, I could go ahead and search that. And here we have a bunch of remote desktop sites. Now, this doesn't necessarily allow us access to those sites, okay? But what it does is tells us that those sites are out there, and that could become a potential target, or at the very least, it's an attack surface if we were doing some searching for a specific site. And again, if we were doing a specific site, we could add in the site parameter into our search. So again, very powerful. All right, let's try another search here. If you remember our video where the hacker stole the autonomous car, that great video from Cisco Netacad, he searched basically a job board looking for different people who worked at specific companies. Well, we can do that as well. So let's say, for example, we wanted to search LinkedIn. We could use the site parameter that I just mentioned and say linkedin.com. And in the title, let's search Milwaukee. So it'd be maybe companies that have the name Milwaukee in them. And I'm going to look for the term network engineer. So I'm going to go ahead and press enter. So now this came up with a lot of different jobs in Milwaukee. And that's great, especially if I'm looking for jobs. But we can also add a parameter here. The minus means not. So if I want to say not including the word job, we can do that. Let's see if we come up with something different. Okay, so here we have it. We can see some people that work at Milwaukee Tool. We can see someone that works with the Milwaukee Bucks, someone who works at UW Milwaukee. So if I was doing some social engineering, I just found out some information about some people that have worked or currently work at a particular site, and I could possibly use that information. Again, finding this information that's publicly available may not be illegal. Using it or attempting to access a system without permission is illegal. Don't do it. So these were just some examples of Google Dorking. Until next time, make sure that you are practicing ethical hacking techniques. Take care.